Afternoon all. If you can hear me, say hi. Afternoon everyone. Can you just... I missed a bit of that chat, I'm afraid. Hang on. Ah, Pipe Doc, how you doing? Eric. The Blakemar arrives today. Woohoo! Indeed. Austrian Piper, how you doing? Well, at the moment, I'm sitting outside Charing Cross Hospital with my wife. Can somebody please just confirm that the sound is okay? Because I'm using a mic in the car and that's never been a good situation. My car drives have been a bit traumatic getting the microphone working okay. Good, thank you, Mike. Well, playing hooky at work, good for you. But if I get the nod from my wife that she's been called in, I'll also have to cut off pretty sharpish. I'm about to load up the Boswell Freehand, and I'm going to be smoking one of the samples I got from Brian Doran yesterday, which is going to be the Virginia crumble cake. And I'm sure you guys have seen this pipe before. It's the Boswell Freehand, which Marco of Moretti Pipes put a new stem on it, a 9mm stem. So that's what we're going to be loading. I'm going to turn you back around so I can read your messages. I'll give you a nicer view there, and hopefully I'll be able to read the messages. Tim, how you doing? Who else have we seen here? Tony Cook, Pipes Etc. Ghost Cob. Sean, I'm sorry to see that you're sick. You're doing all right. I'm just outside Charing Cross Hospital with the wife. She's got a bit of a wait in the waiting room to have her knee looked at. You could probably tell me a thing or two about that, Sean. So I told her I'm going to pop out for a bit, and she should give me a buzz if she gets called. So if I do suddenly say bye, that's why. Not being rude. Okay. I smoked this yesterday, this tobacco. I actually quite enjoyed it. You may have caught my first impressions. Now I'm getting a battery warning. Tell you, as good as technology is, it's got its limitations, that's for sure. This building is quite impressive looking, but it's really old. You compare this to the Royal Free Hospital in Hampstead, it's a different ballgame. And UCH in Houston, different ballgame. Ghost Cob, there was something I wanted to ask you. I don't remember what it was. I was going to try and get hold of your email address, but I couldn't There was something, I'm not sure if you messaged me about something or if, I don't remember what it was now. Can't remember, I'm sure I will remember. But if you fancy, I'm sure you've got my email address. If not, it's boscopiperuk@gmail.com. You could just drop me a short line so I've got your email address. I'd appreciate it. At this moment in time, I can't remember what it was about. There's a lot of people on at the moment. Hope you're all doing well. I have noticed that during the day, get more viewers more quickly, considering it's ad hoc. Hi, Pick and Piper. So any of you other guys tried this Crumble Cake Virginia, the straight Virginia? I did get a small box in this morning. Haven't had a chance to open it. I'm fairly certain that it's from Fawn Loggins. I ordered some more of the Three Nuns Green. And I can't remember if I ordered anything else. Possibly some, I think it was a couple of pouches of the Amphora. I mentioned it in one of the videos that they're doing a really good price on Amphoras. And even the 100-gram Mac Baren tobacco is a really good price. I think I saw a post from them on Instagram that they're doing a 15% across the board, I think, or on Mac Baren's anyway. So it's even cheaper at the moment. But I'm really going to have to start sort of slowing down on my tobacco purchases. Got far too much tobacco now, and we'll be going through my pipes once again, doing a little bit of an audit, a cull. Anything that's not getting smoked will be passed on. Amphora Original is really good. I've gone through a couple of pouches of it. One pouch I had to dispose of half of it because it was mouldy, but the flavour on it, and it's possible that it's really heavily cased with sweetener, not flavouring but sweetener, and that's maybe why it was susceptible to mould. Razvan, how you doing? I haven't lit up a cigar, I'm afraid. Then if you can catch this, smoking the Boswell. Ralph Cutler. Thank you very much, I appreciate that. Where are you based, Ralph? US, UK, Europe? Birmingham, cool. My father used to travel up to Birmingham every week. He's retired now, but he was in the jewellery trade. He worked for a wholesaler in London. Worked very, very hard. But he used to go up every week to peddle his wares. This time of year was absolutely crazy time of year. All the best, Sean. Wish you better. Christmas time in Birmingham, there used to be quite a healthy jewellery trade in Birmingham, and he used to travel up with his jewellery. He used to do very, very well this time of year. I've spoken about my grandparents from time to time on the channel, but I haven't spoken about my father very much. But yeah, the jewellery quarter is still there, yeah. Just that my father's retired, so I don't hear about it much. But my father my father grew up in the East End of London during the war. He was born in 1942. So he was born during the Blitz. And I've mentioned before that they used to, during the air raids, they used to hide in the tube stations underground. You know, the London Underground trains. And so they used to literally have thousands of people on the platforms, you know, where the trains would normally be going through, and people would be bunking down in duvets and stuff like that, and that's where they would live for quite a lot of the time because of the frequent air raids. And I've mentioned this before, there's a picture somewhere of my father, his mum and some of his siblings sitting on the platform and being visited by King George, which was very cool. One day they came back from being in the shelter in the underground and their house just wasn't there anymore. They really laugh at it, but you know, people went through these kind of situations. I think it was Lucan Street, my father told me, the name of the street in the East End. I don't think that the street exists anymore, but they literally came back one day from the shelter and the house wasn't there anymore. Direct hit from a bomb. And obviously, thank God they weren't there. That was the reality of their lives at the time. Seared pipes. But my father, and I think it's true of a lot of people of that generation, the immediately post-war generation, life was hard throughout the world, I guess, and people worked hard to make a living. There's so many stories of people who started from nothing and literally were so tenacious in their careers, and they built up empires. I've got a good friend whose father built up a handbag factory here in the UK, and just to give you an idea of his tenacity, his father was 14 years old during the war, and he had to swim across some kind of river, but not just a river which was 20 feet wide. We're talking about a few miles in order to escape some kind of prosecution and get, basically he went on a long journey, eventually ending up in the UK. He started up a handbag factory. You know how he started it? He rented a room somewhere, found himself a second-hand old sewing machine, and on his own started sewing together handbags. Cut a long story short, he grew and grew and grew, and eventually had a factory employing some 300 people in the factory. Can you believe that? A 14-year-old boy, a foreigner, somehow finding his way to the UK, starting off sewing individual handbags on his own in a little dingy room somewhere in somebody's attic, and started from there. What a story. Sadly, that man is suffering from either Alzheimer's or a similar type of degenerative disease, so he's not really remembering much. His son, who's my friend, it's very hard for them, you know. He goes to visit him on a regular basis. Sometimes he'll recognize him, sometimes he won't. Just hang on a second, guys. Hello? Alright guys, she's going in, so I have to go. See you later.